understated damage, and the power to simply remove armored units from the battlefield? Quartermaster Creature here, changing up my format once again to say there's been too much medium penetration slander lately, divers. It's time I dispel many of these rumours and falsehoods, and just outright say it. Medium penetration is good. So, to begin, let's cover what medium penetration actually means. Every weapon from the piddly Peacemaker to the spectacular Spear has an armor penetration value, ranging from light penetration all the way up to anti-tank. In order to damage an enemy, the armor penetration of a weapon must match their armor value for 65% of full damage, or surpass it to hit as hard as possible. Now, with that out of the way, let's get to the nitty-gritty, shall we? In Super Earth's arsenal today, there are 22 medium penetrating primaries and secondaries. I won't be covering support weapons or heavy penetration today, diver, as these would massively tip the scales from democratic to outright fascist bias-wise. One of the rumours I'd like to put to bed, however, concerning my most magnanimous medium pen, is that weapons featuring it have lower damage overall. In order to do this justice, let's compare it to the current diver favourite, light penetration. Light pen is the tier below medium and features 26 different primaries and secondaries, and is typically a more popular choice for those that prefer precision tasks. Now, as said prior, there seems to be some chattering and gossip going around the mighty Super Destroyer fleet that medium penetration weapons deal less damage than light pen. And I'd like to say, where are people getting this from? As looking at the stats, that couldn't be further from the truth. By adding up all 22 medium penetration primaries and secondaries base damage with my handy TechPad calculator app, we can see that the average damage across medium pen weapons is a glorious 255.9. Very impressive for a supposedly light hitting penetration class. And to make it fair, let's also do the same for light penetration. 26 weapons, the average damage is... This can't be right. 183.2? Excuse me? Huh. I guess medium penetration does more damage on average, not less. Weird how rumours work, eh, diver? Now, of course, averages mean little in terms of actual performance and raw damage. But if we look at the actual damage stats of the heaviest hitters per respective penetration class, we can see that 3 out of the top 5 primary and secondary weapons in terms of raw damage are actually medium penetration. And I guess, since I know there's going to be one of you out there, if you'd like to remove the explosive weapons from the medium pen category to give light a slight edge, without the explosive crossbow and grenade pistol, medium penetration still has an average damage of 218, beating out light pen by 35 damage. And while this Quartermaster isn't the most versed in the complex calculations that go into figuring out how durable damage works, I typically prefer to shoot first, then figure things out later. Let's do a quick little average on durable damage for both penetration types. Medium penetration weapons overall have an average durable damage of 58, and without the two aforementioned explosive democracy dealers, 48.9. Not great, not terrible. And light penetration has... What? No, this can't be right. Light penetration, on average, has 18.8 durable damage. Yikes. And while I could remove some of the lower durable damage arms from that calculation, come on. I already stacked the deck in favour of light pen by omitting the crossbow and grenade pistol. If I can't best its bigger brother without those, maybe it doesn't deserve to.
Helldiver.
Wow, I'm busy. 4.5% of people are subscribed. I don't know what that means. You and the democracy officer won't stop talking about this. You won't shut up about it. Leave me alone. But with all this said, we haven't even moved on to enemy matchups for both medium and light penetrations. For this comparison, we're going to be using the two most bog standard basic weapons from each class I can find, even if they are both lethal performers. The AR-23 Liberator Penetrator and AR-23 Liberator respectively. Both of these weapons feature similar damage outputs, with the Penetrator sending 60 damage per 5.5mm down range, and the Liberator boasting a glorious 80, a 20 damage difference between both of these glorious Super Earth arms. To start with, let's cover the tawdry Terminids. While these galactic foes do love their heavy armor for their more threatening units, the majority of the forces they field feature light armor, with only 2 of their units actually possessing medium armor. Those being the Hive Guard with their shield-like faceplates that can give light pen weapons trouble, and the dreaded Biospewers, who feature medium armor across their heads and along the top of the rest of their foul bodies. These 2 units mean the 65% damage of medium pen matching their armor affects only 12.5% of their total forces. As for light pen, however, 10 of their units possess this level of feeble protection, those being the front mandibles and torsos of Hive Guards, nursing spears, heads and spinal plates, the rear legs of Biospewers, the majority of Alpha Commanders' bodies, the body armor of Stalkers, the mouths of all variants of Chargers, Impalers' undersides, and the same for Bile-Titans. This means that light penetration is able to match the armor of these enemies with its own penetration for 65% damage against 62.5% of Terminid forces. However, this inversely means that our beautiful medium penetration is able to punch through these pathetic excuses for armor and deal its full damage. To compare the Penetrator and Liberator here, the former will deal its full 60 damage to any light armored foe and 39 to any possessing medium armor, whereas the Liberator will inflict 52 damage per shot against light armor and none against medium. While these numbers are close, you must consider that these are rapid-fire lead slingers, and that damage will mount up over time. Even with all this said, I do think medium penetration performs worst against the Terminids, as that remaining 37.5% of their units I didn't mention are actually unarmored, meaning light penetration is able to deal its full, glorious damage to them unimpeded by a 35% reduction. However, the same cannot be said for the Terminid strategic opposites, the abominable Automatons. Where the Terminids love to swarm and overwhelm at close range with little armor, the bots prefer a more nuanced approach, firing from a distance with heavily armored brutes and medium armored foot soldiers. I'd almost call them clever if my democracy officer wasn't listening in. Now, as for the armor they possess, the Automatons field 8 units protected by light armor. Marauders protect their torsos with said armor, whereas both variants of Scout Striders cover their legs with it. And similar to Striders, Devastators shield their legs and shoulders with this level of armor, while Berserkers only cover their torsos. Once again, that means that light penetrating weapons are able to deal 65% of damage to these parts, 100% to anything weaker, though nothing to anything stronger. In total, 50% of automaton forces possess light armor, which is higher than I expected for such troublesome foes. But where things get interesting against these beastly bots is their medium armor matchups. 62.5% of their units are protected by medium armor, both variants of Scout Strider's waists. All 3 types of Devastator's bulky torsos are covered in this armor, along with gunships' entire chassis. All types of tanks, heat sinks and treads, and the ever-classic underbellies of factory Striders. Once more, 65% of damage from medium pen against these devious attempts to protect themselves, and full damage to anything weaker. Absolutely delicious. I'd say the Automatons are middle of the road for our middle of the pack medium penetration. While it makes short work of many of their units, others feature heavy armor, which this level of penetration is useless against, or have completely unarmored weak points, like the heat sinks of Hulks or Devastator heads. Even with this said, however, I still believe medium penetration on this front is an invaluable tool for simply removing certain troublesome enemies from the battlefield equation. And on to the faction I believe medium penetration shines most against, the ill-mannered Illuminate. But first, light armor. 5 of their units feature light armor for a total of 55.5% of their total forces. The center bodies and side fins of Watchers wield this level of protection, along with the torsos of all 3 types of Overseers. And lastly, the center eye of Harvesters is only pitiful light armor. Light armor pen is good in this front against these enemies, sans Harvesters, along with the unarmored Voteless and Flesh mobs, but once again only deals 65% of its potential damage. Against Overseers, this is especially noticeable, the Liberator requiring more effort than expected to fell these fiends. Medium penetration, however, oh my blessed medium pen, how you spoil me against these squids. Once again, 5 of the units on the squid front possess medium armor, 55.5% of their forces. All 3 types of Overseers feature medium armored little thoughtless heads. Harvester's shield prongs and legs too, and Stingrays are entirely made of medium. As these 3 are likely the most troublesome foes a diver will face, with the exception of Leviathans, the ability to handle all 3 of them with a single weapon like the Liberator Penetrator is an absolute liberty send. Of course, against all factions, there are scenarios where both medium and light penetration shine and struggle, though the utility for handling many of the tougher foes one might face across all 3 fronts provided by medium penetration is nothing to scoff at. And this last point I'd like to make, which is not something many divers consider when accusing medium pen of being for those who lack skill or patience, is accessibility. Obviously, I love my native mouse and keyboard for the flexibility and precision it provides, though please consider the positions of those who fight bugs, bots and squids using controllers. I personally have yet to try it, but I imagine popping the heads of Devastators can be a tricky task using this input method, and with the recent surge of Xbox reinforcements, there is likely a growing demand for more medium penetration arms with which to fell our enemies. Along with this, divers with disabilities and those who prefer to spray and pray, myself included, can all find great value in the power of medium penetration. So, to wrap up, despite being middle of the pack in terms of penetration, medium is anything but weak despite some dissident rumours I've heard being thrown around. From the shielded faceplates of Hive Guards to the towering legs of Harvesters, there is little on the battlefield that a medium penetration weapon won't help a diver handle. And the utility they wield and damage the output is nothing to scoff at. I hope I've changed some of your minds about medium penetration, Helldivers, because at the end of the day, anything is a weapon in the hands of a Helldiver. Be it light or medium penetrating, it's you that brings out the potential of them all. This is Quartermaster Creature, signing off. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy one of these ones too. Remember to like and subscribe and all that, and come watch me on Twitch as well, if you are interested, and I will see you next time.